Hello everybody and welcome to The Architect, Take 2. So, the first series, the save file kind of got messed up and it wasn't really working perfectly anyway. I wanted to adjust some of the settings, change a few things. But the basic premise is the same. I've got a whole list of different Horde-based designs I'm going to show you. So the idea basically is that I'm going to do I'm going to try to do one design a week. So basically, yeah, every Horde night I should have a different Horde base, or modify a Horde base I've made into a different design so I can show you different things you can do. Get some inspiration, or just maybe you like to see what other people are doing, whatever the case may be. But as I've said before in the previous videos I've done about Horde-based design, I kind of like doing it the longer way, actually kind of as a playthrough, because everybody else that does Horde-based design videos is just like, Horde-based, here it is, now you do it. Well, I'd like to actually show you how I get to that point. Although I do use a lot of mods, so my gameplay is not going to be the same as yours if you don't use most of or at least some of the same mods. Most of the stuff I use, though, is not drastically game-changing. For some reason, it has started me off in the winter biome area. Normally, I play on, because I use nitrogen, I can control most of the things to do with map settings. I tend to just play in the forest biome, which is just right over there, so I'm not going to have to go far to get to it. And that's just because, I don't particularly like a lot of the things that come with the other biomes. Some people call it challenging, I tend to just call it irritating. But to each their own, I suppose. For example, like, I just got so sick of doing the beginner quests over and over and over again that I used a mod that gives you some starting items just to get you going a bit, which I actually toned down. I went in and fixed it because it was giving like armor and other things, and I just wanted some medicine and food items I thought was good just to get you going. And then I added in most of what you need for the starting quests, like a feather and stone mostly, just because those are the things that when you're first getting started you often will find difficult to find. Now the winter biome has stone just scattered everywhere, so that one's not a big deal. But again, I don't think I've seen any nests anywhere nearby. There's one right over there, so I spoke too soon. But often it can be a pain in the ass trying to find rock and nests for the feathers just to get pardon me, just to get your starting quests out of the way. So that's why I use that particular. Make a few wood frames here. I probably don't use them as often as a lot of people do to start with, but I still use them often enough that I like to have a few at least in my inventory at all times. Just for when I need to nerd pull or, anything. to be careful because although I have used mods to get rid of most of the animals just because I don't like them in the game, you know, again, to me it's not a challenge, it's just irritating. Okay, yeah, I don't think I want to take that particular plunge. I will just go ahead and go down the slope right here because it is right here. But since I don't really spend much time in the winter biome when I play anyway, I have not gotten rid of the mountain lions. I think I'm going to go ahead and spend my starting points. I'm not using any restrictions on this playthrough because it's really all about building. And so I'm going to have to respec often. So I have modded in a cheap version of the Forgotten Elixir so I can respec when I need to, so I can show you different base builds. Because trying to get all the money together to buy the Forgotten Elixir at regular price would just take forever, and that's not the point of this series, this playthrough. Okay, so I go agility, I'm going to go ahead and grab rule and cardio, living off the land, and a point in sexy T-Rex to start with. And the reason I'm grabbing living off the land, I don't tend to do a whole lot of farming, but it is still a useful perk to grab even when, you know, I use a mod that gives more perk points to start with. That was one I just changed the file, actually. Didn't really mod it. Just because I think 4 is too slow for my taste. And then I have a few other mods I like to use, Zombipedia, and one that gives you some extra perk points when you complete trader tiers, or the quest tiers, and then the rules of citizenship, which gives you some extra quests and things you can do that also gives you some extra perk points here and there. Mostly it just helps you level up and get some nice things. But anyway, the reason why I grabbed the living off the land in this case is because I wanted to go ahead and grab this field of cotton and the chrysanthemums. There's even more over there I'm going to go ahead and go grab. And that first level of living off the land gives you 2 instead of just 1. I can... And the reason why that's a good thing to grab early on is because the cotton you can use to make, well, you can use it to make cloth fiber, but you don't really need it for that. What you can do with it, and I will credit Savin on Savin's World for this particular trick, is that you can make the old bed item pretty easily in the game. You just need a few springs and not a whole lot of things, really, and they sell pretty damn well. I think the last time I made them and sold them, I sold 3 for over 800 dukes. And they don't cost very much to make. if you haven't watched any of my other videos, I also use mods. One that jacks up headshot damage considerably, but the other one that affects damage lowers all body damage by 50%. So the only way to quickly kill these fuckers is to hit them in the head. And I believe I put it at warrior difficulty, so they're already pretty tough. That's just kind of how I like to play. I like to kind of find a happy sweet spot for myself in terms of easy but also difficult. Like, it's only easy if you kind of hit the sweet spot, basically. You know, nail them in the head, they go down pretty quick. Miss the head, it's going to take a while. And if you don't take them out quick enough, then they're going to kill you. So, you know, because if you just jack up the difficulty to warrior difficulty and all that, you know, and just give them a bunch of extra hit points, it just ends up taking so damn long to kill them. And often it just gets tedious. It doesn't feel challenging, it just feels tedious. So by having the higher difficulty but including that headshot multiplier mod, and then also decreasing body damage, to me that gives a good balance. I mean, you see, I'm hitting them in the head, and I'm still having to hit them quite a few times to put them down. And we got a tiny biker there, one of my weird creations. Hit him even, duck it. That's a problem. Goodbye. And there's a full-size biker. Let me in. Let's go visit Bob. Nobody's impressed. Horde schematic. Stuff there. Chemistry station schematic. That's another thing that I changed. Was the frequency that you get the schematics. Just because I felt like it was kind of ridiculous how long it could sometimes take to get them without getting the perks. Because the reason to get the perks should not be the main thing. The schematics, the ability to build the things, getting the schematics. What I'm trying to say is that should not be the main reason to get the perks, like advanced engineering. Yes, it unlocks your workbench and the forge and everything, But the main thing that you would want it for is that you get you craft stuff 20% faster and glue cheaper at first level. At second level, you can craft workbenches and cement mixers, and you craft items with them 20% faster. At third level, you start being able to build electrical stuff. You get 20% experience from electrical trap kills, which is good. All forged recipes cost 10% less, and crafting forged steel and electrical devices costs 15% less. And then that just keeps getting better as you level it up. So unlocking those basic schematics is not really the main thing you want those perks for to begin with. And if you don't want to spec into those, you know, when you're playing solo and you don't have the ability to have other people that can spec into other things because you want to spec into something else, well, you're kind of screwed because it can take forever to find any of those schematics. So, again, yeah, it's like I don't like being forced to take or to spend perk points in the engineering just to unlock those rather essential crafting tools. Let's look for, of course, he doesn't have any cobblestone, so let's see if he has any weapons that would be affordable. I don't think that one works yet. I still need to figure that one out. The varmint rifle, because I think it's supposed to be a 9mm rifle, but it doesn't work because of how the tagging system in 7 Days works. And that's a thing to do with the modding. How would I explain this if you've never looked at the code? So basically, it's like a 9mm weapon would have tags attached to the item file or script, the coding for the item that tells it, you know, it's a 9mm weapon. Pistol Pete books affect it. The types of attachments that can be put onto it, and the gunslinger perk, yeah, is the one that affects it. And then it's like gunslinger affects all the different random, or not random, but the modifiers. But one of the things is that the ammo itself is what dictates the damage, and it also has tags associated with it based on the perks that affect that type of ammo. So if you have a rifle that should have the Deadeye perk attached to it, but it's using 9mm ammo, the tags don't match up, and you end up doing no damage with it. I hope that made sense. TLDR version, if the tags don't match up correctly, you do no damage with the weapon, and I'm not sure I fixed the varmint rifle. And Bob has a lot of electrical stuff, as usual. That's kind of his specialty, I believe. But he does not have cobblestone, which would have been useful. He doesn't have any
Thank
weapons
you, Survivor. Check back soon. I get new
that I can
merchandise
buy
daily.
that I know actually work. I'll go ahead and finish checking the place out for possible lootable stuff. Don't worry about that for now. I'll go ahead and take that, even though I don't think I've ever actually crafted any of those items before. Usually you can buy them or find them, as long as you know where to look, which would be passive stations. That's your best bet for... That's a good find. Bike parts. all the vehicle parts. Actually. You got Biker and Mini Me over here, banging on the damn wall. So where am I at? I am way east and a little north. Next to winter biomes. I'm gonna go ahead and stick to this area to start with. Sometimes I like to travel around, but in this case I'm just gonna go ahead and stay here. You can all go fuck yourselves. I'm leaving. Bye bye. Good grief, they're just all over the place. Then again, maybe not. This seems like a small area. Whereas the problem that I'm going away from town and back the way I came is back towards the zombies is further into town. Okay, I'll just go this way then. La-di-da-di-da. I'm just being silly. This looks like a nice place to look at. Of course, there's a damn Mo wandering around right outside, because why wouldn't there be? Oh, for fuck's sake, there's an entire group of them. Of course, they have radar ears, so they're still going to know exactly where I am and come after me. 'Cause reasons. Oh, I want that. So I gotta start gathering some building supplies. I'm going to need a whole hell of a lot of building supplies in this playthrough. Stop phasing through the wall. Oh yes, this is something very helpful. Oh, should we all shut the fuck up? Done yet? Zombies. The apocalypse would be so much nicer if it wasn't for all the damn zombies. And there's still another one somewhere. Look through here and get rid of a few things. Eat that because it'll take care of my hunger issues for a bit. Put that on just because. Herbal antibiotics, that's a nice find. Oh, there it is. Got stuck on something, I guess. Yeah, that's another mod that adds some movie posters and classic paintings to the assorted stuff that show the paintings on the walls. So it's not just the... I believe it was the original Kickstarter backers or some of the ones that had the highest tier backing on that. Something like that. Or maybe not Kickstarter, I don't know the whole story of 7 Days to Die. Oh yeah, it's this one. If you're wondering why I'm grabbing all this stuff, even things that people often will just leave behind, like the jars, it's because I want them to get the water, dirty, or the murky water. Now, I have passed some up in the toilets, but that's just because I don't particularly feel like toting around 2 stacks of things right at the moment. But, let's see, I already have 7 glass jars. Eventually I will have more. Three fucking times in a row, this will move just as I was swinging. Alright, here's the end level loot. Ooh, now that is nice. Again, this is something I modded in. If you won't see these native or vanilla. I just wanted some extra stuff to add to the gold and silver nuggets. So I just put in an image, a basic image. It's the Hope Diamond Necklace. It's just a general image for jewelry. So ruby bracelet, ruby ring, and diamond necklace. I don't know why I got so many of them. That's something I've had trouble trying to balance out, because sometimes the loot tables make sense and other times they just seem to do whatever the fuck they want. Because those are not supposed to be common items to get. Well, the rings and necklaces are a bit more, I guess, are supposed to be a bit more common. So the diamond necklace, ruby ring, ruby bracelet, a little bit more common, because I also put in raw diamonds of different colors, not just the basic, not raw diamonds, but cut diamonds of different colors, which are very valuable. But again, I just put that stuff in to add some variety. It's not really supposed to be like a super item that you get, although they are worth quite a bit. But again, I tried to keep it somewhat realistic. I looked at actual prices of those various types of diamonds to see what I thought would be reasonable value in game. Because to me it was reasonable that people would find that, would find that stuff and hide it. That would be something that people would covet. Oh, it's after 2200. I didn't even realize. I'm gonna go ahead and... Yeah, that really doesn't help much. But I'm gonna go ahead and break some of this stuff down. Seriously, the most valuable tool you can find early game is the wrench. It may not seem like it, it may seem silly, but a wrench, appointed salvage operations, will get you so much stuff that you can sell. Because there are so many things that you can break down in this game with the wrench. The ratchet or the impact driver. Sounds like somebody's been alerted and is coming after me. I don't care at the moment. As long as, or until they actually get down here to me, I'm not going to worry about it. Sounds like they might have already got down here to me. Maybe not. Let's see if there's anything behind there. It doesn't look like it. But yeah, pretty much anything mechanical or electronic you can break down. I don't think you can break down the chests, but you can break down safes. Light bulbs, I'm going to leave that alone just so I can have some light in here. So let's see, I can go ahead and scrap that. I want the jars. Go ahead and drink a glass of milk right there. I can scrap that, scrap that. Let's see what else. Eat a sandwich. Sure, scrambled eggs out of a box. Who wouldn't want to eat that? Again, food items like that are from a mod, and all it does is add in more items. Just more variety. Most of the mods that I use, again, they either tweak things like I don't like the wolves in the game and the vultures because they just are annoying to me. They don't add to the gameplay, they just make it irritating. Things like that. So taking some things out but replacing them with other zombies that I created or from other mods that are also tough. So it's not like I'm just making things super easy. I'm just replacing something I find irritating with something that's a bit more enjoyable to me. I would rather fight other zombies than wolves and the dogs and things, just because they're so fast and slow to the ground. You cannot see them a lot of the time. Your only alert basically is when you hear them right before they attack you a lot of the time. The vultures, you know, do you really want to wander around with your, just looking up constantly, trying to make sure you're not being stalked by vultures? And at night, you can't see the damn things, so they'll attack you out of nowhere. It's just, to me, that's annoying. It's not fun, it's not challenging, it's just annoying. So, use mods to change those out for things that I find more enjoyable to fight, that are still a bit tougher than the average zombie, but less irritating. Things like that, adding in more variety for weapons, like I'm using different mods that add in lots of different melee weapons, lots of different firearms. Some of them I made myself. The firearms, not the models. I don't know how to do 3D modeling. But you can do some fun stuff. I did a couple of videos about adding new shotguns in, just using the assets that are already in the game. So you can make new weapons to put in the game to add a bit more variety just with what's already in the game. It's not that difficult. There we go. Be very, very quiet. There's zombies all over the place. That right quick. Don't have any repair kits to repair the wrench, but I could make one. But do I want to do that, or do I want to... I'll go ahead and make a repair kit to repair the wrench right quick. I don't know when I'll be able to find another one. Might be easy, quick finding another one, might take a while. Depends on what else I find around here. So, anyway, other mods, like I said, adding in more weapons and food, items. But for the most part, yeah, it's just adding more variety. Nothing that dramatically alters gameplay. And I'm not particularly interested in mods like Darkness Falls, the overhaul mods, because I don't know what it is about the people who make those. They seem to be fixated, or they actually seem to enjoy things about the game that I think are tedious. Like Darkness Falls, I would love the RPG aspects they added to it, but the ridiculous complications to all the different ways you have to level up skills and the nesting of leveling up your perks and different skills and all that stuff. And then you have to do things with the different dyes so you can make schematics. And you have to read some schematics from the hotbar, but other ones, the normal ones, you can just read from anywhere. But probably should just read them all from the hotbar because they don't know how to make them work properly, or whatever the case may be. And you have to have a workbench for every goddamn tiny iota of difference in things that you want to make. Because for some reason, a regular workbench won't work for making clothes. You have to have a tailoring workbench for making clothing items. And all this yada yada convolution and redundancy. So there are things about Darkness Falls, like the overall concept, the RPG aspects, I would enjoy that stuff, but just the ridiculous level of redundancy and overcomplication of skills and leveling and all that stuff and schematics, that would just piss me off to no end. It's not, to me, that's not fun, and I don't know why the hell they made it like that. I guess some people just find super redundant things and tedious things enjoyable for some reason. So, yeah, I'm not interested in Darkness Falls. Not unless they put out a version that has, you know, less of the shit that would just annoy me in it. Which I highly doubt that they'll do. And the same goes for things like, what is it, Ravenhurst, I think is one of them. Every single person I've heard talk about Ravenhurst talks about how grindy it is. Which, again, makes me think that this is going to be another one that they have overcomplicated things that do not need to be complicated. They've made the whole thing about resource gathering and redundant tasks, tedious, repetitive tasks, and things like that. No thank you. So I've kind of used a whole plethora of different mods to create my own personalized overhaul mod that doesn't really overhaul the game to that dramatically, but just overhauls aspects of the game that annoy me, and it expands on things that that I do enjoy or would like more variety of. There's really difficult zombies from what is that mod? I can't remember the person who created the mod. But it adds things in like there's the behemoth, the wrestler, scarecrow. I think it's the siren. It's a screamer that makes everything go wonky when it screams. There's all these different specialized super zombie creatures that are now in the game from that mod. And then I created some of my own variations of the basic zombies that are mostly tougher. They actually have random hit points, so they might be a little bit weaker, but they can be a lot tougher. And usually when you come across them, they're tougher. Especially on warrior difficulty. Why have I not loaded this? I've been standing here with the damn thing out and not loaded it. That makes a lot of sense. I'm just jabbering away, waiting for 4 a.m. to kick around so I can end this episode, basically. And then I'll start the next one when I feel like it. So, yes. I was talking about the mods I'm using and why I like to use them. I know some people don't like using mods. They frown on using mods, but, if you don't like mods, then don't use them when you play. I like mods, and I use them when I play, so that's how it works. because it's a game, and games are supposed to be fun. Don't take it so goddamn seriously. And if you do take playing games that damn seriously that you want to criticize how other people play games, get a fucking life and go fuck yourself. That's how I feel about that particular. Get good gamers can go fuck themselves. Because they're assholes that need to get a life and stop building their entire personal identity around playing video games. If you aren't making money doing it, then you're not a professional. Anyway, I'm not trying to be aggressive and mean to gamers there. I do not have a problem with gamers that call themselves gamers because they enjoy playing games. I have a problem with gamers, as I was saying, that take it so fucking seriously that they talk shit about how other people play games. And they act like it's some grand accomplishment to play a video game in any capacity. It's like, if you enjoy it, fine, but don't act like you're saving the fucking world in real life when you're just playing a game, even if that game involves saving the world, because it's just a game. Maybe it's just because I'm older and I've been playing games basically since consoles were a thing. I was a kid when the original Nintendo system was released in America, so I've had video games in my life all of my life. Basically, because Atari was around before I was born. And then the Nintendo generation came in, and it was Nintendo and Sega, and then PlayStation came around. I was a Nintendo kid. I had Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, had the GameCube. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, so you can find out when I put up new videos. Likes, comments on the video, and sharing the video helps YouTube's algorithms present it to more people, puts it in share, you might like this lists, all that sort of stuff. Any kind of engagements, basically, on YouTube, it sees that as good and helps the video get seen by more people. So that's always appreciated. Comments, any questions you might have, any comments you might have, obviously, and if you seriously disagree with me about something, I probably won't care. And if you try to argue with me, I'm very good at arguing back. So, try me. If you dare. I'm being overly aggressive for no particular reason, just because, I guess. But thank you very much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. See you later.